Hi fellow investors. Many of you have your emergency savings in money market funds, and many conservative investors often generate their income from their investments in money market funds. As a result of recent interest rate cuts, money market funds look set to yield around 4% per annum going forward. This means that after taking fees into consideration, investments of this type would struggle to generate meaningful returns. If money market funds are no longer a viable alternative for conservative investors, where else can they look? We would like to address this question from the following perspectives. The old adage, cash is king, is still relevant. Cash gives you perpetual flexibility and liquidity that no other asset class does. While the current yield on cash is very low, it's not going to stay at those levels forever. Cash allows investors the option of acquiring other assets without having to liquidate an existing position. By way of example, Gryphon's recent decision to purchase bonds in our multi-asset funds was facilitated by the fact that we used our cash to buy those bonds. We did not have to sell equities at deeply discounted prices. A further example of the power of cash is reflected on the balance sheet of Berkshire Hathaway, the company managed and controlled by Warren Buffett. At the end of March, Berkshire Hathaway held cash of more than $133 billion. This proves to us the importance of cash and also assures us that the bottom has not yet been reached in asset prices. For investors who want to remain invested in cash, I would strongly recommend looking at the Gryphon Dividend Income Fund. This fund is only appropriate for non-pension fund clients, individuals who have maxed out their interest exemption, or corporates who have cash on their balance sheets. They will get a pickup in yield relative to that offered by money markets on an after-tax basis, and the fund only has exposure to the top 5 South African banks, namely FirstRand, Investec, Absa, Standard and Nedbank. I would consider income funds with caution right now. My concern regarding this category of funds generally is that these funds tend to bumble along quite nicely for 6 to 7 years and then have a disastrous year. To illustrate this point, in the South African multi-asset income fund category, there are 121 funds. However, 15 of these have delivered negative returns for the 6-month period to end 28 May 2020. Further, the average returns of these funds for 6 months is only 1.66%, and for 12 months only 5.27%. We use funds data as the source of these returns. These returns, in our opinion, are quite disturbing, considering the risk that investors have had to endure in order to generate these returns. Any investor who needed to redeem their investments within the first few months of this year would have suffered. What is the purpose of a short duration product like this, i.e. one where your funds should be easily accessible if there is this level of volatility? Regrettably, these products are often sold on the basis that they are similar to money market funds but offer better returns. What is not given adequate attention, unfortunately, is that this increase in return comes with an increase in risk. We would not consider this an obvious alternative for investors right now. The Gryphon multi-asset funds are also worth considering. The Gryphon Prudential Fund has returned 17% over the past 6 months and 23% over the past 12 months. The last 6 months' performance has been helped by our recent exposure to bonds, but even prior to this, we managed to outperform mainstream cash. For investors with a slightly higher risk tolerance, I believe these funds provide a compelling alternative. As a final point, I would also advise investors that they stop the bleeding where they are exposed to funds which have underperformed consistently. Unfortunately, now is also a time in the market where managers who have underperformed are inclined to take outsized bets in order to restore performance and their careers. Not all these outsized bets will pay off. Thank you.